Question about Sunday that'll make you think. DeMeco Ryans, are things one-sided at NRG? The benefits of a dub, the cost of a loss. We got a lot to get into. We got a hell of a football game this weekend. Let's go.
Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not.
It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I am Landry Locker. It's been a hell of a week, and it's going to end with a hell of a game. Hopefully, at NRG, Texans taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Texans currently favored by 2.5 points. That lines up to 2.5 points. Do you feel comfortable betting the Texans minus 2.5? I don't, but I do think they have a chance to win the ball game. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. Officially, we now know that Nico Collins and Christian Kirk will be out. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the show, but that means that the Sleeper picks are officially available, the higher lower picks. The best app in the game, Sleeper. It's my scoring app. I use it for college football. I use it for NBA. I play the higher lower game. I do all of that. It is the best follows on social media. And right now, if you haven't played higher lower, this is the week to do it. And I'll get you started off right because I'm pretty confident this week. Had a good week last week. I'm pretty confident this week. If you had never played and you just want to do it for free, they got you covered. $20 entry, no deposit needed. Just download the Sleeper app, check it out. It's the best DFS in the game. And if you want to even add more, you can get the 100% match up to $100 by using that promo code Locker. Here's what we're going to do with the higher lower this week. I got 3 things, and I think my odds are up to 4-1. So Nick Chubb under 31.5 rushing yards. I think enough is enough. I think we finally see Woody Marks. I don't know. Maybe we see that Chubb and Woody that DeMeco Ryan speaks of so much.
Chubb and Woody.
And then George Kittle, 52.5. I feel very confident in that. He's coming off a game where he didn't have a catch, but they did win. He's going to have either Azeez Al-Shire, Henry To'oTo'o, or Jalen Petrie on him. I feel like this could be a big game for him. And Jalen Knoll, I know Nick Caley doesn't like rookies. He's got that B.O.B. New England philosophy, but 33.5 will go higher for Jalen Knoll. So there it is, 4.64. Put that $20 in and play this. And then next thing you know, if it hits, you'll have $85, $90 in your account for no cost. And you will be connected to the best sports app in the game. Shout out to the greatness that is Sleeper for all they do for the program and all they do for sports fans in general. So let's get into this game. Texans 49ers. Yes, there is a game. It's been a wild week. Started with a game on Monday. Then on Tuesday, DeMeco Ryans had his worst press conference ever. Maybe the worst press conference that a Texans coach has ever had. Then on Wednesday, DeMeco Ryans perhaps had the worst quote that a self-proclaimed players coach has ever had. Kaimi Fairbairn explained himself. And then on Thursday, Derek Stingley talked about how he likes to press, and it's a little bit more difficult to do what DeMeco Ryan said he wanted done when they're backed off. And then today, really kind of a quiet-ish day. And we are officially on to San Francisco. I want to ask this question to the peeps. Shout out to all the peeps in the community. We're now over 1 million hours in watch time with this channel. This 1030 show that's been on for a few years, 1 million hours watched. We're over that. So shout out to y'all. I want to ask y'all a question. What's the weirdest thing the Texans staff could do on Sunday? And this is really hard for me to even think about because the stuff that they did personnel-wise last week, it just expands the possibilities to where I don't even know what's considered weird anymore with this staff. It's so bad that I don't even know what this staff could do that I would consider weird. I mean, it's so weird that when they make personnel decisions, and I'm gonna drop the video on this. You have the special teams coach, who's the least weird coach on the staff. You have him saying this.
How did you arrive at the decision to go with Barrios at punt return instead of Knoll?
I don't think there's a decision to go with anybody. I think every year you guys have asked me, hey, how do you?
There's not a decision to go with. That's how weird things are getting over there. They need to win bad. From now on, whenever I order food, we are going to, and I want y'all to tag me and Cody Stoots. I want you to tag SNL when you're on social media. This is the new thing. Anytime you go to a restaurant, at Landry Locker, at Cody Stoots on social media, I want y'all to say what you ordered and say I didn't go with it. So in other words, if you go to Olive Garden and you order the chicken parm, have someone ask you, why did you go with the chicken parm? Well, I wouldn't say I went with the chicken parm. Sometimes you go with spaghetti. Sometimes you go with the tour of Italy. Sometimes you go with chicken Alfredo. That's how weird they are. And they're so weird, they rotate guards because they say they want to get looks at the guards after they didn't do it. They're so weird that the rookie that's been active every game that has shown explosiveness, he gets benched on punt return and then plays less than Braxton Berrios, who hasn't been active all season long. They're so weird that Dare Ogunbowale, who hasn't gotten any reps at running back, they decide in the biggest game of the year, they want to put him back on the field and get him back in the rotation. They're so weird that Derek Stingley doesn't press Jackson Smith and Jigba, doesn't shadow Jackson Smith and Jigba, but the coach claims that the game plan was to put hands on him. I think there's probably some confusion in the building because I know that they have bigger rabbit ears than they want to claim. But nobody said, at least here or with Stoots, that DeMeco said that they wanted to press. It's weird that you say you want to get hands and be sticky. Like Derek Stingley said to DJ Bieniemy, it's weird when you say that and then you have him 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, especially with the way the NFL's called, which is what Derek Stingley said to DJ Bieniemy. That's what was confusing. No one said that. Not even with the interaction. I said, DeMeco said he wanted to get hands on him. I didn't see any pressing. That was what that was. They got rabbit ears over there. I mean, why would Frank Ross not even say that he went with someone when he went with someone? Don't know. But I'm asking the question, like, what is the weirdest thing that they could do? Putting up a lot of points would be weird. I knew these jokes were coming. That's what Ethan says. Run the same play in different formations. That's what Myron says. Starting Graham Mertz. That would be weird. It's not even a joke. That would actually be weird. So there you go. Mr. 915, G Rex. Weirdest thing is for them to use our rookies like we're supposed to be doing. I think they need Noel going. Look, man. I'm to the point where I would love to see these rookies. I'd like to see these rookies when Kirk and Collins are active. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get a heavy dose of Xavier Hutchinson and Braxton Berrios at this point. That wouldn't even surprise me. I don't know what that is. They have turned Frank. I don't know what happened to Frank. Frank's our guy. He's my guy, man. That's why this is so frustrating. Frank's my guy. And now he's a paranoid mansplainer. He's a paranoid mansplainer. Chase says Mr. Bieniemy has also soured on DeMeco at this point. I don't know that he's sour. I mean, we've seen what's gone on. I think a lot of times DJ Bieniemy is kind of the voice of the player. So maybe the players have soured on DeMeco Ryans. And it's kind of hard not to imagine. Sideline Sarah says, does Matt Burke call plays? No, he does. I mean, they let him call plays every once in a while. It didn't even look like he was really doing it this past game. DeMeco's the one that lays out the game plan. DeMeco's the one who says what goes down. Matt Burke is a decorated assistant. And that's why they downplayed the play calling thing, because I don't think that's going to be a whole time thing. It's his decision. But if the locker room has turned on DeMeco Ryans, this would be why. This would be why. And keep in mind, I'm there every day. Stoots is there every day. DJ's there every day. This isn't like some shoot from the hip type of thing. But if it has, and if it will, I think this quote would be why. And this was the quote that DeMeco Ryans said on Wednesday, which I think is hilarious. And it kind of goes back to coaches being confident about their process whenever the results aren't great. This was DeMeco Ryans on Wednesday. I think this, if he loses the locker room, this is going to be what people go back to. This is going to be what players go back to. This is how a player's coach doesn't act like a player's coach. And I think there's kind of some theories I have on it, but this is what it is.
I'm figuring out why things are happening. It's always baffling as a coach when you go through and you practice a certain thing and you work it a certain way and guys get in the game and do something completely different. Well, that's being disjointed. Like, we got to be on the same page. And not on the same page, like we don't know what we're doing. We just got to do what we called. We got to run what we call, right? The techniques we work, the things we established throughout training camp, we got to do that, right? And when we do that, you'll see we operate efficiently. We are able to be in the right spot defensively, special teams-wise. We're able to get our blocks done the right way when we just execute what we practice all week, right? You can't get in a game. So I told our guys today, you can't get in a game and overcomplicate football. I know football can be a complex game within a game, but to me, football is simple. And you make it simple, you keep it simple, and allow guys to go play fast. All right, and that's what we've done, but we don't need to make things up. We don't need to try to do something or press and make a play. Just be like, we just have to stay with what we've been coached to do it the right way every single time. When I say it's one snap at a time, that's what I truly mean. It's not, I need to make this big play. You need to focus in one snap at a time, do exactly what you're coached to do. When we do that, we play well. When we get outside of that and we try to do more, that's when we don't play well. So it's not complicated to play this game. We don't need to make it that way. Let's play fast and let's play fun.
Okay, that's crazy. So what you're doing is perfect. The players just got to go do it. On one hand, you look at that, you hear that, and you say, okay, so everything's perfect. They just got to do what you tell them to do. That's it. It's really simple. I mean, that's a hell of a life. Yeah, I mean, that's fake accountability. Because you say that and then you come out and say, blame me. Those are two different quotes that he said this week. And the fact that he overthinks, he kind of exposes himself and shows stuff. But so you're saying that everything's perfect, but then you have fake accountability and you say, blame me. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, I do have another theory about this that I think maybe you should probably look into and perhaps think about where this may go and where this may be going. I think he may be talking about his quarterback. And I think he may be just scared to say, this is what CJ needs to do. Because I personally think if CJ Stroud put to practice what he just said, I think the Texans would have more than 2 wins. But if you listen between what DeMeco says right there, he's saying when we don't try to do too much, we do what we're told to do, and we don't make this complicated, then it can be easy. You think he's saying that about any of his defensive guys? That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? It might be a defensive Nick Caley. And he's talking about the quarterback. Follow me on this. I don't know that the dynamic between CJ and DeMeco is that strong. I think he might be talking about his quarterback there. Now, let's just sit back. So we just listened to that quote. And we listened to it, and it sounds, the way that he presents it is the way that you got to take it. And DeMeco has done this weird thing earlier this year where He was clearly mad at one person.
Hey, bro, Alpha Aaron here.
And he went there and made an ass of himself by going up there and talking about nobody in the media does this and nobody in the media does this, blah, blah, blah. You were talking about one person, brother. And instead you went up there and you generalized an entire industry and you made a fool of yourself because that's not what you meant. And that's not what you meant to do. So it kind of backfired a little bit. No big cost, but that's what he was doing. We talked about this. We talked about this in depth when it happened. I think that's what's happening right now with the quarterback. I said this after the game. If Deshaun Watson, 17, 18, 19, 20, pick a version of Deshaun Watson with a quarterback, they have at least 4 wins right now. I think CJ Stroud's running into trouble. I think I don't think he's taking what they give him. And I think that when he says I think he's talking about Nick Caley and he's talking about CJ Stroud. I think that's it. And let's just put this to practice. And let's just listen to this and pretend he's talking about CJ Stroud, and it might make a little bit more sense. But DeMeco has already shown that his passive aggressiveness and his desire to generalize instead of specify, we've already seen it. We've gotten tangible proof. This isn't revisionist history. We talked about it. We've seen him do it in different forms. But now just listen to this and think about this as if he was just talking about CJ Stroud. And tell me in the chat if you think I'm onto something or not.
I'm figuring out why things are happening. It's always baffling as a coach when you go through and you practice a certain thing and you work it a certain way and guys get in the game and do something completely different. Well, that's being disjointed. Like, we got to be on the same page and not on the same page like we don't know what we're doing. We just got to do what we called. We got to run what we call. Right? The techniques we work, the things we established throughout training camp, we got to do that, right? And when we do that, you'll see we operate efficiently. We are able to be in the right spot defensively, special teams wise. We're able to get our blocks done the right way when we just execute what we practice all week, right? You can't get in a game. So I told our guys today, you can't get in a game and overcomplicate football. I know football can be a complex game within a game, but to me, football is simple. And you make it simple, you keep it simple, and allow guys to go play fast. All right, and that's what we've done, but we don't need to make things up. We don't need to try to do something or press and make a play. Just be like, we just have to stay with what we've been coached to do it the right way every single time. When I say it's one snap at a time, that's what I truly mean. It's not, I need to make this big play. You need to focus in one snap at a time, do exactly what you're coached to do. When we do that, we play well. When we get outside of that and we try to do more, that's when we don't play well. So it's not complicated to play this game. We don't need to make it that way. Let's play fast and let's play fun.
All right, so there's the two theories that I've thrown out there, if you want to buy either one of them. One of them is that DeMeco Ryans lacks accountability. He thinks that everything they do is perfect and that the players need to be in place. And both can be true. Maybe the answer is yes on both theory. That's theory one. Theory two, he's talking about CJ Stroud, but much like when he was talking about,
hey, bro, Alpha Aaron here,
and generalized the media, he just generalized it about football. Like, he's talking about special teams blocks. What special teams blocks are we talking about in that game? I think it's kind of obvious what the deal is there. Let's go to the chat real quick here on the Locker Room Friday edition before a big game Sunday.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Jarvis says, do you think DeMeco lied on Stingley? I don't think there was any lie. I think I think he said that he wanted to do something, and the way that he attacked it made it damn near impossible. It's damn near impossible to get hands and all that on JSN when you're 9 yards deep. And that's what Stingley said. The quote to DJ Bieneme from Stingley, and this was after I spoke to him and I just asked him about press coverage and shadowing and all that type of stuff. I don't think he lied at all. I think he just, I don't know. I don't understand what he was saying, but yeah, it's DJ said, but according to DeMeco Ryans, the goal was to make sure We stayed aggressive, blah, blah, blah. So the DeMeco quote. And then this is the quote that DJ got from Stingley after practice. I'll paste it in here. This is from DJ Bieniemy, ESPN.com. Stingley also said, if you're off and you're trying to put hands on, then you got to worry about flags and illegally contact and stuff like that. So that's what he said. I don't think DeMeco lied. I just think it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think it was a lie. I think people took it that way, but I think it just didn't make a lot of sense, especially given what we thought we were going to see. Dyson says Miko talks nicely out of both ends. Yeah, he started doing that. That wasn't always the case, but he's definitely started doing that. AK says, I hate Houston sports. I'm never falling for any hype ever. It sucks. Myron Benson says he sounds like Caserio. DeMeco and Caserio are the same. I've been saying this for months. They're the same. Like DeMeco is Patriot way, whether you like it or not. He's Patriot way. Like it's not. I'm not saying it's going to be permanent, but this is definitely a phase. He is like Matt Patricia. He is like, he's a better coach and he's got better talent, but he is like Matt Patricia. He is like, Josh McDaniel. Like he's got the same mannerisms. It's the same thing. It's the same thing he does. They're twins. Yes, they are. They're twins. Someone says a Meek, no D or O. My God. I thought he was just a Meek with no O. No D or O. We're there now? Chase says whole coaching staff has become compromised to the Patriot way. It seems that way. It definitely seems that way. That's kind of where they're at. But I think Sunday at NRG, I think it's a tale of outmanned and outmanned. It's outmanned versus outmanned. So I think if you just factor in talent, like rosters, I think the Texans they outman the 49ers, this version of the 49ers. You look at the guys that are out, what the 49ers have, like what they're missing is the equivalent of, and I wrote this down earlier today. It's the equivalent of missing CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy's out, Nico Collins, Ayuk's out, Jake Andrews, that might not be the worst thing, but their starting center's out. Will Anderson, they're missing Nick Bosa. Azeez Al-Shire and Stingley, they have a starting corner, and they have Fred Warner out, and Christian Kirk too, because Ricky Pearsall's out. So their top two receivers, their quarterback, their starting center, their elite edge guy, their elite linebacker, a starting corner, and more are out for the San Francisco 49ers. I didn't even lay out close to what that is. So yeah, Nico Collins and Christian Kirk are out, but it's not even close when it comes to which team is more beat up. That's why they're favored in Vegas. Like if you switched, I said this earlier today, and this is where the other outman comes in. So roster-wise, the Texans, they have more to work with. It's not even debatable. They have more to work with. Now, I know that the Niners have Christian McCaffrey, but the Texans have a hell of a defense. And they have George Kittle. Texans have a hell of a defense. And the 49ers roster is deeper. So it's not all things equal. But what their version of what the Texans would be missing is right there. Texans wouldn't have a chance to be within 30 points of anyone if they were missing that much with this coaching staff, which is why the Texans are outmanned too, because the coaching staffs. They have Robert Saleh. The Texans have Nick Caley. The Texans have DeMeco Ryans, who's a really good defensive guy. And the 49ers have Kyle Shanahan. The 49ers having the record they have right now is insane. It's crazy. It's arguably Kyle Shanahan's best coaching jobs. He's had some good ones. If you switched coaching staffs, if you traded the Texans coaching staff for the 49ers coaching staff, the Texans win by 5 touchdowns. It's not even close. And that's why I'm so intrigued for this matchup, because it's outmanned versus outmanned. How much will it matter? What will it look like? I think it's probably going to be an ugly game. Like I would say that maybe the Texans should be able to move the ball on the 49ers, but I wouldn't bet on that. I don't even know what they're going to do. We don't even know who they're going to play. It goes back to what's the weirdest thing that they could do. But this could be potentially an absolute clinic. And that's why I think the benefit of a win is you get closer to that 5-5 record that we talked about, that perhaps the Texans could have. That would put them in position to where maybe they have a puncher's chance to back into the playoffs. But if you lose, given what we just said, it's likely that you're going to lose because you just get your ass out coached significantly. And I don't know if DeMeco Ryans, after saying what he said, can really afford for that to happen. I mean, you already have like either one of two things. He's either just acting like everything the coaches do is right and the players just aren't doing it right, or he's calling out his quarterback. So if DeMeco Ryans goes out there and loses, and there's always a little bit something extra. I think most of you know this. I don't know if there's anything to like compare it to, but like if you leave a company and you're competing with that company in any way, you want to beat their ass. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you left on good terms. It doesn't matter if you left on bad terms. It doesn't matter. You want to beat their ass. Especially when it's in your house, you need a win really badly, and they're the most beat up team in the league. They're more beat up than Baltimore was. This is the second time the Texans are getting a crack at a team with their backup quarterback in. This is the second time. And these are two of the games that you thought were going to be the toughest games on the schedule. Both of those teams are completely depleted, and you're facing their backup quarterback. Mac Jones, who? So the cost of this, I don't know if the sky comes tumbling down, but the honeymoon phase, and you see the way that they're already acting. Like, do you think they start acting better if they lose this game? No. I think the honeymoon phase is already over. I think it comes tumbling down. I think the pressure is up on either DeMeco or Caserio. And I think you don't just look at the state of this season as a whole. You look at the state of this era of DeMeco, CJ, Caserio, the three most prominent faces in the organization. Does a win solve everything? No, but it at least gives you a little bit of breathing room, because the heat's on right now. This is the most heat that DeMeco has faced as head coach of the Texans. Quite frankly, he hasn't really handled it very well. The press conference on Tuesday was embarrassing. I think there might be like there's been some talk about CJ, DeMeco. Like, are they front runners? Like, are they front runners? Like CJ after the rookie season, before it got real difficult, like we saw everything that was going on. There was a lot of stuff going on with CJ in that offseason. He was feeling it. The Caleb Williams moment after that to start the season. You had the ranking the quarterbacks, and now it's just kind of died down to where he always looks sad. So there's been questions about that. DeMeco, how is he going to handle it? They got to win this game to kind of ease that down a little bit. That's not even like factoring in that they need it really to kind of survive and maintain some sort of ground with the rest of the AFC teams. That's what they got to do. They got to figure it out. It's not the most ideal situation for them. I don't really know how you feel overly confident in this team, though. That would be my other thing. Like, they're going to have to beat good teams. San Francisco right now, I think they're a very well coached team. I don't know if San Francisco is a good team. I think they're somewhere in between the bad team and the bad teams that they've beaten and the good teams that they've lost to. But I don't know how you look at this team and just feel like they're just going to flip the switch. They got to win to keep it up. Someone says bring Trent Brown in. I don't know that Trent Brown can play a full game. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't really see that. Like, he's not even active. He's out there like at practice, but he's never active, which kind of makes you wonder, like, what happens if something happens to the O lineman? What are they going to do? But I would be shocked to see Trent Brown play a whole football game. I would like to see what it looked like. It's a big mofo, but I don't know. I don't know what that looks like coming off the injury, how big he is, all that. Your guess would be as good as mine. Let's go to the biggest storylines for Sunday here in the locker room before we get ready. God, I'm so ready. I'm so ready for Saturday. Just be able to chill a little bit.
High-grade marijuana called Kush on the
And
streets.
some football, for sure. No doubt. But storyline one, obviously, DeMeco versus mentors. He had some really glowing things to say about Robert Saleh. He spoke very highly of Kyle Shanahan, among other staffers in San Francisco. It was where he got his start. We know that Kyle Shanahan has his history here in Houston, and it's going to be the first time that he has a chance to face the guys who he credits for making him the coach he is today. So that's an obvious storyline. I would anticipate on the broadcast, they're going to have pictures of DeMeco and Shanahan and Saleh and all that. I would think that's probably part of the production. So that's storyline one. That's obvious. Is he going to be able to hang with those guys? Who knows? Storyline two is the reps minus Nico and Kirk. Captain Kirk has not arrived. We thought maybe he had arrived.
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
He's arrived in the training room. That's pretty much where we've seen Christian Kirk. This has been a flop. The Christian Kirk signing. That's been an absolute dud. I don't think it could have gone worse so far with what we have, and most importantly, what we haven't seen from Christian Kirk. It's rough. It's not great. But the question here is now, like, what are they going to do with the receivers? I mean, I can't even begin to guess. I'm flabbergasted that Jalen Noel doesn't play more. I'm flabbergasted that Higgins hasn't been involved more. And quite frankly, I know that these two guys are out. I don't know that I even trust them to 100% play the rookies more. I mean, nothing would really surprise me with these guys. So what does it look like? I don't know. I don't even have a guess. I can't guess what they do personnel-wise. Another big reason for that is storyline number 3, the rotating guard thing. Laken Tomlinson and Juice Scruggs, musical chairs. They want to get a look at them. Is that going to continue? Are they going to stop that? I don't know. I don't know why it even resumed. But they insist that that's the direction that they wanted to go. So, all righty. So rotating guard watch. We'll keep an eye on that. Laken started the last game. Juice Scruggs was out there the strong majority of the previous 2. What does that look like? Rotating guard watch. Then we have the 2 guys who are much faster than they look. The elite, the EHD, the elite honky duo.
Race car!
Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. I really want to see what these guys do in the pass game. And I don't know how they're going to attack Kittle. Are they going to let Jalen Petrie guard George Kittle? I think that's barbecue chicken. Is Azeez Al-Shire going to put his cover skills to the test? Last time we saw him against a tight end that was really, really good, it was Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce had looked like a shell of himself all season long, and he looked like prime Travis Kelce when Azeez was on him. So it'll be interesting to see Azeez get an opportunity to perhaps guard a player like George Kittle, who's coming off previously mentioned catchless game. I think George Kittle and McCaffrey in the pass game are going to be a mofo. And then McCaffrey, obviously in the run game, we got to keep an eye on him. Kind of surprised that Charbonnet was able to do what he did to the Texans last week, especially with all the talk that, or not last week, 4 days ago, with all the talk about how he was the inferior back. Next one, I don't know if this is going to make people too excited.
Nick.
How does Nick Caley follow that dud? That was one of the worst performances that a Texans OC has had. He was getting roasted. Like it basically turned into a Comedy Central roast of Nick Caley by Dan Orlovsky and Louis Riddick. How does he follow that up against Robert Saleh? A depleted 49ers defense too. They still got some pretty good players. They're still well coached. They're still going to battle, but they're depleted. So how does Nick follow that up?
Nick.
Yeah, Dano definitely hates Nick Caley. He thinks he's awful. Can't imagine what the elevator ride was like. Then we got to see what happens with the big dude from Longview, Trent Williams versus whoever. And I asked this question last week. The answer was no. Can both edge guys eat? We haven't really seen Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson both just go crazy in the same game. Probably a little bit more difficult. I know Trent Williams is older, but he's one of the most athletic tackles that we've seen, and he's an absolute dog. So it'll be hard to imagine, but it sure would be nice if both edge guys could eat. You remember the Danielle Hunter extension that I just didn't understand? Like, you let Laramie Tunsil go. Okay, cool. You got to make tough decisions. And then you make Danielle Hunter what? Next year, one of the 5 highest paid edge guys? Does he look like that? He's a good player. Does he look like that right now? I'd say it's hit or miss. He's still good. But they invest a lot in the defense. It would be nice to get a dual ROI. For the non-finance folk, that's return on investment. I took intro to finance. Return on investment. Nick Caserio watches a lot of CNBC. I'm sure he knows what it means. He doesn't know how to practice it, but he knows what it means. But can both edge guys eat? It'd be cool if they could. Those are the storylines for the week. San Francisco versus the Texans. It's going to be a good one. Regardless, though, I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a fun season no matter what. It's going to be fun to see how this whole thing develops. How they handle pressure, how they handle adversity. If the season gets lost, how do they handle that? What will the storylines be? How's DeMeco going to handle it? But, I mean, in the perfect world, I want them to win as much as you do. It's better. When my audience is happy, I'm happy. I'm not going to lie to you, though. This has been the weirdest week that I can remember covering the Texans. This has been weird, and I've covered some weird shit. Easterby, O'Brien on the back end, Coley, Lovey. I didn't expect much from them, though. But, I mean, when you look at what happened on Monday night, it just, you immediately kind of just lost. You lost faith. And I don't know if it's like is it something where now they just go back to what everyone already thought they should have done in the first place? Not rotate guards, play Jalen Noel more. Did they just go back to that? Like nothing happened? Like what were y'all doing the 15 weeks before? Or 15 days, excuse me. Easterby was weird, but and I was pretty close to the situation, but it wasn't. I mean, it was just that was just like a blur. That was just like a blur. But like as far as specific weeks, I don't know. Specific weeks in which you had expectations, don't know. This was weird. This was definitely the weirdest of the DeMeco Caserio era. And I really don't know what happened, what changed, but it feels like there's like it's like a Bill O'Brien. Like the other thing that I have to remind myself is Bill O'Brien tried more than anyone to copy the Patriot way. So when it bleeds in because of Caserio, it just feels familiar. You know, like as weird as this was, it does also kind of feel familiar. And it's rubbed off on DeMeco. And maybe DeMeco's just being a good teammate. And he's making it work all he can. Like, I don't think Bill O'Brien did everything he could for it to work with Rick Smith or Brian Gaine. I think he eventually became king, and it was his way or the highway, and he ran out. DeMeco's giving it a chance. I also think, to go back to it, I don't think DeMeco's as pleased with the quarterback as he wants to say. That's another theory. Pick one. Who knows? We got a game on Sunday, though. Post-game show, 4:30. I'll be out there. If you're at the game, hit us up. We got you. When you go out to eat, tag us. Hit us with your Frank Rossing. I wouldn't call it going with the chicken strips. Hit us with that. But this is going to be fun. I mean, and we'll be honest with you, and we'll just keep doing what we do. And we'll just keep doing what we do. I don't know. How's DeMeco Patriot way when he's calling out players? Do the Patriots not call out players? Is that what? Don't the Patriots call out players a little bit? For sure. Belichick will call out anybody. Anyway, appreciate y'all for rolling through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Subscribe, like, ride along. It's going to be fun. Shout out to Sleeper, the greatness that is. Again, higher for Kittle. We're going higher for Kittle, lower for Chubb, and God, higher on Knoll. Hopefully they play the rookies. See how it goes. Appreciate y'all for rolling through.
Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give. We got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too.